Hunt 41 is a celebration of American waterfowl hunting. The 41 species of ducks and geese are the roadmap for us to tell the stories of the various regions, styles of hunting, and most importantly, the people that are representing this great pursuit of ours. This is the original series, The Chase for the 41.
Here we have combined the style-soft, inventive, turn-of-the-century market gunners of Chesapeake Bay and the resilient northeastern Mainers. Toss in our own unique hunting style and you have a blended approach which is well suited for the diverse hunting here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, we're going to launch here in Freeland, run down to Green Bank, just around the corner. I can't give you any more information than that. I'll be the shooting boat. I'll anchor, and then John will build his decoy spread around me. We'll start shooting some sea ducks.
From the Columbia River over to the agriculture fields of the basin, to the Snake River and on into the far corners of the state, the mallard reigns supreme.
Might hit bottom here, Ben, so. You want me to stay out here?
What is not well known is the variety of the ducks that inhabit our state. Our state is divided by the Cascade Mountain Range, which creates two vastly different climates. The west side encompasses the Puget Sound, continues over the peninsula, and then on to the Pacific Ocean. With a nod to our famous rain, this is known as the Evergreen side.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Tony?
Oh, man. How you doing, man? Nice to meet you. Yeah. Well, welcome. Yeah.
We got a nice group right where we're going to set up tomorrow morning. 50 yards out, there's a huge mussel bed underneath the water. Creates kind of an X situation. Once the tide hits a certain level, easy food.
Out on the saltwater, you will find the common scoter, surf scoter, white-winged scoter, harlequin, old squaw, and Barrow's goldeneye, to name a few.
Shot. Outside one.
I thought it was your turn.
Right over the top.
Who's that?
Oh my God.
I'm John Otto. I have 5 children, 4 daughters and 1 son, Jack, and I'm married to a beautiful wife, Tony Otto, who puts up with being a duck widow for this season.
Oh, man.
Sea ducking is unique. It's unlike any other type of waterfowl I've chased, and I've from field hunting, puddle ducks to geese, to divers in rivers and lakes. Sea ducking is unique because it's so weather dependent. You know, if it's a windy, squally day, it's a great day for puddle ducks, and my son and I, we rotate based on weather and opportunity. And so when it's a nice calm day, that's the perfect time to get out in the salts and for a good safe sea duck hunt. And the birds move. The birds are totally dependent on the tides when they move, and if you can get lucky enough to find an X of where they're feeding, that helps as well. But it's really unique. People look at, you know, how well they decoy and everything, but to get to that point of where they decoy and getting them exactly where you want them is actually the fun and the challenge. Scoter, it's one thing to, vision 10 feet from where you want it to land. And that's when you start to mature as a sea duck hunter. I grew up with a younger brother, and from an early age, my dad was interested in the outdoors. I grew up, he was an avid upland hunter, a pheasant hunter, and he was really involved in field trialing labs, black labs specifically. So my earliest childhood memories are yelling mark and throwing dummies and learning how to train dogs, and he would border dogs for other people and train, and it was his passion. And I was raised as a mallard-only guy. When I was fishing out in the Puget Sound, I was the one who would be looking at all these sea ducks, and he would think I was crazy, and I'd go home and look them up in my books. And I can remember the first time after I got into it, I took him sea duck hunting. It was really funny. He was half into it, and we set up, and he was pouring his cup of coffee, and a harlequin came in the decoys, and he literally was pouring the coffee. He set the coffee cup down, picked up his gun, he shot the harlequin, he put the gun down, and he just drank his coffee and goes, "All right, I got the harlequin, now what?" And from that, it's turned into we get him out on the salts occasionally now, and he has been a convert to the sea duck and diving world. You found the joy in it, so there's hope for all you mallard-only hunters out there to be converted to the true sport of waterfowl. The one common misnomer out there is you can set up a sea duck rig, and every single sea duck is going to fly into your rig. Certain birds love certain situations and certain conditions and certain areas, and if you're truly after collecting all of them, you got to just figure out where they are, and that'll take you to some great places if you're willing to put in some. A lot of the geese hunters, they'll tell you how many miles they'll put on their truck as they're going field to field, county to county. No different than us. Get in the boat. There's been full days of just going out and finding new territory, because you never know when something's going to dry up and birds change, and you got to be prepared for that. And sea ducking is a unique, different type of hunt that not a lot of people get to experience, and we feel very fortunate to live in the state we do, to be able to partake in it. And every bird we take, we're very fortunate for. They're very special birds.
My personal goose of choice is the Pacific Black Brant and the Melville Island Gray Belly Brant. Very few hunters consider these birds due to their limited target days and areas. But those of us in the know realize how rewarding a day on the saltwater can be. I am director in the Washington Brant Foundation, and brant are a primary passion of mine.
You know why the brant like it here. A little bit down the bag. Just gotta remember I set those weights too. That was a thank you decoy for when we hosted him for our harlequin.
Oh yeah? I knew this one.
What's this one here?
This is, I made 6 old squaws back in 2004. Jeff Coates.
Oops. Show me the bottom real quick.
he donated these to the Brant Foundation. He did 2 of them. They made Jason, my brother, and I run them before we put them in the auction. And then we ran them, and then in the auction we bought them.
It comes with a lot of traditions. Obviously we use the hand-carved, homemade decoys.
Yeah, nice.
No offense to the folks that are making some fine decoys, plastics or whatever, but we just feel, my collection is a little bit of myself, a little bit of my brother's collection, and a lot of friends across the 50 states, my decoys. And I'm very proud of that. So when I'm decoying sea ducks over, basically my friends that aren't with me, I feel like they are with me. And the H1 carries so many great memories.
They're actually made by a friend of mine named Chris Englehart. He burlapped them. Chris illustrated my book.
Head over to the east side of the Cascades and you will discover mostly flat desert conditions. Both sides of the state can boast of plenty to offer the wing shooter. Most waterfowlers cherish the mallard above all other ducks, and we possess some of the greatest greenhead shooting in the country.
Warm water comes in, and that's what they like.
What's your favorite thing about hunting out here?
I just say seeing the number of birds that you see, and they want to be in here and stuff because of the warm water. They want to come into here. So I love watching them cup up and just come in and just dive in the hole. That gets my heart going. When you see them swinging around, you know they want to be in this warm water. It gets you excited. That heart starts running away. Love watching the dogs, and taking the dogs and sharing it with them. They get more excited than I do. I got one of them's 14 years old, and she can hardly walk when she's done from the day. But in the morning, she jumps up. One of the things that is just so special about Eagle Lakes that I love is the way the number of birds come in here. They just come in big groups. You'll have 5 here, 2 there, 10 there, 20 there. They're all circling, all wanting to be in here. And you never see that anyplace else. It's like, okay, which ones are we going to try to get in here? Which one are we going to get the shot at? And that's just so exciting when all these birds are coming in.
The first time you hunted out here and what experience you had?
So I always used to hunting in California. Some of the finest properties I'd hunted in Arkansas. And I just couldn't believe the sheer number of ducks trying to come into the pond we were in. I was just going, where are these birds coming from? Just looking around, they were everywhere. And it blew my mind. So that's when I discovered, the southeastern part of Washington and how amazing it is.
Gentlemen. That didn't seem posed?
No.
Yeah, welcome to, I guess, my studio. I wouldn't say it's all mine, but it's a shared office space with other people that make, what do we make, Doc? We make cool stuff. We pretty much make and edit all of our duck hunting videos here, our Slade Northwest videos. who's your daddy?
Slade Northwest has been creating videos of waterfowl adventures since 2013. Seattle-based documentarian Mather McCallum has created 22 unique waterfowl films that represent this diverse state.
I just want everyone to have a good day today.
What were some of the struggles today?
Everything.
I get to do a lot of different types of media work, like commercials and stuff, but making videos about waterfowling is one of like my favorite, most rewarding things to do. This is actually where we're gonna go hunt tomorrow.
All the geese were landing right here where we're at, and then there's a cornfield just right here behind us. And they were just jumping back and forth, back and forth. There was probably around 1,000, and they're all honkers. There's a few lessers, a couple cacklers, but mainly thick birds.
You just want to, because sometimes if the weeds are too tall, they'll still be in your sight, and you guys will just be blasting through weeds. That's perfect.
45-minute drive over the Cascade Mountains takes you into high desert, dry, brown farmland. Such a huge contrast in landscape. I'm no expert on waterfowl species. I'm pretty much just a camera guy, but I do know what a pintail looks like when it flies, and I do know what a mallard duck looks like. And there's a lot more of those mallard ducks over here. That's not to say that you can't shoot something over here that you can't over there. Sometimes it's colder over here while it's warmer over there. Sometimes it's raining over here and it's snowing over here. And if we fail on one side, we can even come to the other side for redemption.
What are we shooting on today?
We are shooting on a 2013 Sony FS700 with a Hemi. Been my battle axe for what most people would consider far too long. Yeah, I think I've been running it for like 6 years. It's actually my second one. I broke one. You don't really know what buttons you're pushing anymore. Information is rubbed off in there. There's like pine needles inside of it. I would be mortified to send this to Sony to hear what they have to say about it. Okay, they're gonna give us a little look here. Okay, get him, get him, get him! Yep. Get him, get him, get him!
Nice, boys!
Woo! What are the camera guys like on the east side?
they're pretty good guys. Yeah. Well, I guess the camera guy's technically from the west side, so, you know.
It's like a clashing of worlds here.
It is. So yeah, these are actual giant Canadas, like the species, the giant.
Goose hunting is probably the pride of Washington State. The Canada goose is found throughout and is extremely plentiful. There are many freelancers and reputable guides here who are known worldwide for offering first-class goose hunting that rivals any state in the Union.
I have never hunted once in my life.
That's crazy.
But I would say that although I've never hunted in my life, I get the same experience that you guys get out of hunting. I still wake up early in the morning. I still go out there and set up, and I sit there and I have the same joy as a hunter does when it all connects. It's been a really awesome, unlikely subject matter that I've gotten to follow for, what, I don't know, like 8 years now. So, I feel fortunate. I feel like I was the kid who said he was going to be an astronaut when he was a kid, and actually maybe became an astronaut.
A large variety of subspecies can also be found, giving the collector much to strive for.
I think Alex is here. Yes. Yeah. We've been, Alex said, hey man, why don't you come film us duck hunting in Montana. I didn't have a lot of work at the time. I thought it was just something different to do. And I was like, sure, I'll go film hunting.
Oh, there's more. 6 more. 7 more. They're moving a lot tonight, so that's a good 8 more. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. What was the question? The first time we went out, it was in Montana, so we get out there. You literally were like, okay, so do they just like pop up out of the ground? Do they just come out of the cattails? Like, where do they come from? And I'm like, no. They'll like fly and they'll like kind of like we try and put them right in front in the decoys. You could just tell he was so like lost out there. Still, just because he's so skilled, he still was able to make an incredible video.
As soon as that first group came in, they connected. I connected with the shot. I like really understood why people did it.
You know, now you fast forward, what, how many years? 5, 6, 7. And now he's been all over the world shooting, working for Go Hunt as well, doing their stuff. I didn't know it'd get to a point where, you know, we'd have people that watched our stuff all over the world.
There's no real reason for us to do this other than the fact that we enjoy it.
The basic steps of taxidermy is skin it, flesh it, degrease it, which is a process where you wash it, and then after it's degreased and washed, you blow dry it.
Gotta really work in there and get that down all fluffed up. If you don't dry the down, your bird will look flat.
Then you put back in what you took out, body, neck, and toe, all the areas that you know, you're cutting out right here. And then you sew it back together. And the critical part that separates the men from the children is posing it and truly understanding the anatomy of a duck. Coming back, I beat you guys to the truck. I went down and did a little driftwood search and found this piece right, you know, a couple 100 yards from where we hunted today. And there's nothing better than putting a bird on the piece of driftwood where you hunted it. I still have a lot to learn. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. You know, I used to have an aviary. You become a student of how things should look. It's hard to believe this was swimming this morning, huh? They didn't think there was certainly a hunting threat in Washington State, and you could shoot 7 harlequins a day when we first started. Harlequins are a delicate resource. It's not like you're shooting these birds to stack up a bunch of meat in your freezer. They're definitely trophies and should be treated as such. We self-regulated ourselves to 1 a day, and it was something we did. And then when new people we would meet at boat launches, whatever, we would ask them, they'd respect it and do the same thing. And what was great about our community is everybody overwhelmingly did that. When you get into sea duck hunting, you find yourself getting in with the biologists in the study, especially when, you know, we were taking some of the banded harlequins, and that was a lot of fun. And they would reach out to us for information, and we had a rapport. They were alarmed by the sudden increase in popularity. So we had heard that they were going to shut it down. So a small group of us, 5 people, we got together. We formulated a plan, went to all the hearings, and we presented our case to make it a 1 bird a season, a trophy bird, something unique. And they listened, and everyone was excited. The hunting community, even those that didn't hunt harlequin, weren't that excited because you know, hunters don't really like to self-regulate. But they were understanding what we were up against. And as I said when I spoke to the commission, when my son was 1 year old at the time, I want to hunt harlequins with my son. I want my son and I to go out and get a harlequin together. And when they passed the 1 bird a season, it relieved their fears of overharvest, and it elevated it to a trophy bird for us. And here I am 10 years later. My son Jack's first bird was a Drake Harlequin on the youth hunt. A memory I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Take that back there. Nice shot. Nice shot. Glad we separated.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Wave right next to the other.
What a baby!
Right on, man.
Good job.
When I first got into duck hunting, like a lot of people, I'm competitive. I love to win. I went out every morning thinking, okay, here's my goal, this is what I'm going to do, and I just strove to get better, 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 better. And my priorities have shifted now to more experiences.
So what we do here is we'll land them, we'll make sure they're perfect. Tony had no shot, he had to wait till they separated. You take the shot, it's like shooting a bull elk. You got to make sure you count all the tines, and this one checked the box. So this trophy had a...
Now they've done a lot of extensive studies, and our population is really rebounding in Washington State, and it's quite healthy, as a matter of fact, when some of the other sea ducks are not so fortunate. So it's been a great success. When you shoot something and you know you only get one a year, it just makes it that much more special. It's truly fun to watch people take one, like Tony took one today on our hunt. But when you know, okay, you're limited for the season. Sure, I love shooting birds. Success is great and getting the high fives, but I find more satisfaction now when I see a smile in my son's face when he sits down in that blind somewhere that he never dreamed that he would be.
I am extremely lucky to have been raised by my father, John Otto. From an early age, he brought my brother and me hunting whenever he had the chance. His guiding hand and exposure to the great outdoors passed on a passion that I will follow to the day they finally dig a hole and bury me. I, in turn, hope to pass this passion on to my own children and the generation to follow. At Hunt 41, this is American Waterfowl.